everybody, it's Alyssa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm wearing the same clothes and I'm in the same place as my last video, and that's because I'm recording them one after the other and I don't feel like changing my clothes, so I hope you guys don't mind. But today I'm doing a video on the books that I read in September because I feel like read enough books worthy of a video. I read 6 books in the month of September, and honestly that's the most books I've read in a month all year, and I'm very proud of myself. I decided to go ahead and do a video talking about the books that I read. I also apologize for the lighting. It's always super dark in my apartment, like literally all the time, so all I have is like this lamp to give me some light. So the first book I finished in the month of September is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. I rated this 2 stars. I was very disappointed by it. Very sad that I did not enjoy it because I was really thinking I was going to enjoy it because it's based in Korea, like Nine-Tailed Fox, all Korean characters. Like I feel like I would love it because you guys know I love K-pop and I love like the whole Korean culture, so I really thought I would like it, but there was just like no substance to this book at all. The 2 main characters, I didn't feel a connection between them, but there was a romance. The author tried to make it angsty, but I didn't feel anything. I thought this was going to be more of a story where they're like going through the woods and there's like monsters and there's like an adventure through the woods, but it's literally just about a story about a nine-tailed fox who loses her bead, which keeps her alive, and she has to get it back, but she goes to like normal high school. Like she's just in high school. There's only a couple scenes in the woods and it just wasn't very good to me. I don't know. I know there's like mixed reviews on a bunch of different booktubers. You either love it or you don't like it, and I gave it 2 stars because I did appreciate like the Korean mythology and there was a couple scenes that I enjoyed, but other than that I just didn't like it very much. Next is Orange Volume 1 by Ichigo Takano. I feel like you guys get annoyed every single time I talk about what this book is about, but it's a manga and the anime is my favorite anime of all time. I absolutely love it, and this manga is so far the best manga I've ever read. So I'm just gonna say quickly what it's about because I talk about it all the time. It's about this girl named Maho who wakes up one morning with a letter from her future self, and her future self is warning her about her new friend at school who tries to commit suicide and how she can prevent him from committing suicide through the letters. So every single morning she has to follow the letters the best that she can to hopefully change the future of her friend. It's pretty intense and I felt the same reading it as I did watching it, and they're so freaking cute together, it hurts me. Next I read The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, well, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. This is the first time I've ever actually read this book. I never read it as a kid, but I did watch the movies. This is so much better than the movies now that I've read the book. I rated this 4 stars just because I didn't get the 5-star feeling from it, but I did really enjoy it. It's about this boy named Percy who gets kicked out of school basically his entire life, and then he finds out that he's not who he thinks he is, and he ends up going to this like camp in the middle of the woods that has the sons and daughters of mythological monsters like Zeus, Hades, all of those gods, and all of their sons and daughters go to this camp where they practice fighting and everything like that. And Percy finds out who he is, but everyone in the school gets like these missions that they have to go outside of camp and try to complete the mission and come back, and he gets put on this mission to go find Zeus's lightning bolt. Percy is the prime suspect in stealing the lightning bolt even though he didn't, so he goes on this mission with 2 of his friends to find the lightning bolt and return it back to Zeus, who is actually his father. And they come across like a bunch of different mythological creatures. My favorite is when he comes across Medusa. I loved the Medusa scene in the movie and I loved it in the books as well, so it was super good. The writing was really easy to understand. It is a kid's book, so of course it's going to be easy. It's very sarcastic writing. Makes me wish that there was like a retelling of this in like a horror format, because when they're in hell I just feel like there could be so much descriptive horror words that could be used when they're in hell. Next I read To All the Boys oh my god. Next I read To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I rated this 4.5 stars because it did not give me the 5-star feeling, and I think that's because I watched the movie and I absolutely love the movie. I've seen it so many times because I just watch it all the time when I'm bored. So I didn't get the same connection with the book because I already knew it was gonna happen, but there was a lot of different things that happened in the book and in the movie, both still good. But it's about this girl named Laura Jean who as she grows up, she writes these letters to all of her crushes, but she keeps them hidden and she doesn't send them out. And one day, somehow her letters get out and they are sent to all of the guys that she's ever had a crush on, and she has to deal with all of the guys confronting her about the love that she once had for them. Then she ends up getting swept up in a fake relationship with this boy named Peter, and the story goes on from there. It's really good. There was some things that were kind of annoying to me, and Laura Jean babbles a lot, so that's why I took off 0.5, just because she's kind of annoying sometimes. And Peter is just like that basic white boy who, like, why do people like him so much? I don't know. Yeah, so it was really good, but I think I would have rated it 5 stars if I hadn't have seen the movie, but I just didn't connect with the book as much as I did the movie. Next, I read Easy by Tamara Weber. This is something that I just picked up to have a nice quick read, and I ended up rating it 5 stars because I loved it so much. I cried while reading it. I read it in a couple hours. I started it at like 9 o'clock at night and I read it till like 2 in the morning because I could not put it down. It's about this girl named Jacqueline who gets sexually assaulted one night, but before anything goes any farther, she is saved by this guy who was at the party, and he takes her home. That's that. They end up having interactions with each other at school. They're both in college, and she has to face her abuser every single day because he's still trying to pursue her, and this guy that saved her is low-key like her protector and making sure that nothing happens again. And it's just a really slow burn relationship romance that is just so pure, and it's just so good. That's all I really know how to say about it. I'm awful at these trying to explain things without spoiling anything. But the romance is super, super sweet. The main guy character is so respectful towards her, always asks for consent. He was just the best. So freaking cute. I had the biggest book crush on this boy while reading this book. So if you guys are looking for like a really good romance that has a really deep story, I recommend this. And throughout the story, he sexually abuses other women, and all the women team up together in the book to defeat him basically and take him down. And it's just so empowering. Like, there's so much woman empowerment in this book. And there's also a whole thing at the end as well about sexual assault survival resources. There's a bunch of pages and numbers right there if you guys want to pause it and read it. So it's just a really like wholesome good story, and I really enjoyed it. And then I literally finished this book the last day of September, and I loved it. So this was The Institute by Stephen King. It was seriously so freaking good. I could barely put it down. If you love Stranger Things, then you will love this book. It has the same vibes as Stranger Things, but it's about this boy named Luke who is kidnapped from his home after his parents are murdered, and he is taken to this place called the Institute where children are being tested on because they have telepathy and telekinesis powers, and all of these kids can move things with their mind or hear people's thoughts and everything. And these doctors and this institute is testing these kids, abusing these kids, literally like dunking their heads in tanks and tasering them, and they're being held captive in this place. And it's very sad, but all of the kids interactions are so wholesome, and I love every single kid that was introduced in this book. There was not one kid that annoyed me. I loved Luke's interaction with every single kid that he met, and like there's a lot of things that happen, so you kind of get connected to the kids, and the things that happen kind of break your heart a lot. Like it's a pretty sad story, and all of the kids team up in a way to try to defeat the Institute. And that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you guys love Stranger Things and you love like the dynamic of a bunch of kids with powers literally like taking over, you will love this book. And it was super fast paced. If you don't like Stephen King's writing for the fact that he drones on and on about things, then I think you'd like this book because he doesn't really do that too much in this book. The story is pretty fast paced. He introduces the characters and then action happens immediately. There's not like just a bunch of droning on about the same thing over and over again, which Stephen King tends to do in some of his books. And honestly, this, like, Pet Sematary is one of my favorite books of all time, but I think this beats it. This may be one of my favorite books of all year. It's really good. So that was all the books that I read this month. Like I said, I am so proud of myself for reading all of these books, and my favorite out of all of them was definitely The Institute. I will definitely probably be rereading this again just because I loved it so much, and I've never been the type of person that rereads a book like immediately after putting it back down. It just makes me want to reread it again just because you get so much more insight when you reread books, so I may be rereading that again. But comment down below if you guys have read any of these books and if you enjoy them as well, what your thoughts are on them or anything like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.